Eitan, where is he?
Hey!
Big
Shalom from Tehran.
I love it.
I'm doing this live from Esfahan.
Wait a minute. Where are you now? Because the last time I was looking at your Instagram, you were 117 times you were in a bomb shelter?
Currently, I am sitting duct taped to the bottom of a B-2 bomber that is flying over Iraq to drop some taxpayer freedom onto the people of Iran. Yeah, I'm back in America. I spent the past 3 weeks in bomb shelters in Israel. I'm starting to think that the Ayatollah has a bit of a problem with the Jewish people.
You getting a sense of that?
I'm starting to think that he has an anti-Semitism problem.
I wrote to you, and I didn't want to be disrespectful. I realized there's no such thing as being disrespectful to you. So I said, you were doing comedy in a bomb shelter? So there was actually 2 bombs going on, you telling your jokes, and then what was happening outside. 117 times the air raids will go off, and then you go into the bomb shelter, and you're like, hey, does anybody want to hear a joke?
I will say, one of the shows, a lady left to walk outside into the danger of what is Tel Aviv at that point. Yeah, we did 8 shows in bomb shelters. It was kind of like the beginning of COVID where we had to have like limited restrictions. Basically, I was there on a cohort for something. And then when I was there on Saturday, like 3 weeks ago, the war started. And the war started, you get a notification on your phone at 7 a.m. that just says like, hey, we're bombing Iran. Like that's, but don't tell me also, wait till like 10:30, 7 a.m. to get a notification next to your head. But then, Iran wasn't happy. They started shooting. And then, over the 3 weeks that I was there, I was in and out of bomb shelters 117 times. It was crazy.
How do the people, just speaking for every single Jew, how are people feeling there in Israel at this point? Because you've been there numerous times, and I don't know whether you know this or not, but the country's been trying to wipe you guys off the map for a long time. Are people more on edge now than they were after October 7th? What's the sense?
Yeah, it's interesting. Right now, I will say the overwhelming feeling there is just being like a little bit tired and a little bit bored. Definitely being tired. They shoot those missiles in the morning. They shoot them at like 4:30, 5:30, 6:30 in the morning. They realize that they can't do that much damage. So instead of shooting, if they shoot a bunch at the same time, they realize that they weren't getting money through. So instead, what they do is they'd be like dicks about it, and they just break people's sleep cycles up.
Oh.
So they know that they're because every time you get an alert, you go to the bomb shelter. You wait there. I saw a missile getting intercepted, by the way. That was cool as hell.
Yeah,
that was wild. Everyone's got to see it. It was like snorting bath salts. I never felt more alive than watching a missile get intercepted right above my head after getting out of a show.
Wow.
But you go to the bomb shelter area, and then you wait about 15 minutes for the thing to end, and then you go back upstairs. And right now they're dealing with cluster bombs. Also, I liked it way better when it was just like one big bomb instead of 80 little bombs that shoot out the tuchus of this thing.
Eitan Levine, my guest. We always love having you on. I don't know if you want to get into this or not, but you see people on who's doing most of it. Oh, Joe Kent. I don't know if you're familiar with Kent. He ran for Congress here twice. He just stepped down, and he said he's basically blaming Bibi for putting the puppet strings around Trump and dragging the United States into the war. That this is Israel forcing the United States to go in there and bomb Iran. Can you give us any idea? Yes.
First of all, Joe Kent's an anti-Semitic prick. I mean, he has a background of having problematic comments about the Jews. So, of course, he would go in there and say, things that are so anti-Semitic dog whistly. At the same time, Bibi and Trump have had this unified goal of hitting Iran for years. Trump used to talk about this, back in the 80s.
Yes, he did.
They had been talking about this. If there's one thing I have learned from my time in there is that war is so disruptive. You can't do anything. The entire society is kind of like locked into a situation. You can't go on long walks. Anytime I went on a long walk, I had to make sure that there were bomb shelters on the way that I was going. You can't work. Kids are home from school. Your life kind of stands still. In the north, they're getting pummeled by Hezbollah. Iran has been pulling this crap for years and years and years. This idea that it was an unnecessary war or it was unnecessary or that Israel dragged America into it is completely false. Yeah. The proxies have been keeping that whole region up in chaos for years. On top of that, you're seeing all the Gulf states now, like UAE and Qatar, who are livid at Iran, who saw the years and years and years of trying to build up their countries as safe destinations, that are seeing that completely destroyed by the Iranians out there. There's 1 million people in the region who wanted to see the Ayatollah dead and who want to see the regime not take over again. That being said, the valid question to ask is not, should we have done this? The question is it time to have done this? And was there a plan in place that led to success? And the unfortunate reality is I don't think that there was. It just is what it is. I think that this is 92 million people that would have to be reined in. We've now shifted our messaging towards now being more about the Strait of Hormuz being open up, which, by the way, I've always been a fan of the Strait of Hormuz. Yes. Big fan of, big fan of it. But we've now shifted our goals towards that. This was a combination of poor planning, but it was a necessary thing that had to happen. And I really, I have no idea how this plays out now. Yeah.
So when we hear that Israel's really in charge, you're right. I mean, if you look at the history of the thing, Trump has been saying it since the 80s that Iran needs to go. And I was reading and thinking about when Joe Kent said there was no imminent threat. When was it Flight 93? When it turned towards the tower, was that an imminent threat? Like, when do you determine when it's imminent? Like, is it when the missiles are in the air? Like, how do you kind of square that? It's not imminent. It was happening.
Iran funds the proxies in that Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, I think Al-Shabaab was also through them. Yeah. I think that they were the ones that put the free U2 album onto our iPhones a couple years ago. They're the ones that started Hawk to a Coin, and they're the ones that Firefest 2, unfortunately, was funded by. They do all the evil things in the region. But this is the real thing, is that for October 7th was because Hamas was funded by Iran. Hezbollah up north is shooting the tar out of the northern part of Israel, and now Israel's going into Lebanon. It's weird where I'm so skeptical of when you have people like Bibi and when you have government organizations that are handling military stuff. I'm always skeptical of that. At the same time, you cannot live in the north of Israel. I think it's millions. There's at least hundreds of thousands of people that have been displaced up north. There is no way to continue in this without some military intervention happening, and we're seeing what that is now.
Yeah. When you do your comedy, do you ever think to yourself, oof, too soon? I mean, have you ever?
No, not at all.
I knew the answer to that. Not at all. I knew that. I mean, you're fearless. You're fearless in how you lay it out there. And I'm wondering, you're down there in a bomb shelter and you can hear the cluster bombs going off and you're there making jokks about the stuff that's happening that is life and death for the people of Israel.
Let me tell you the first moment where I knew that this was going to be what it was. There was funny. It was scary, whatever, but it was also very funny. The first couple of days of this, I did, I was on a cohort. I was on a touring group that was there, that I was being brought out for something with the Tel Aviv Institute. And I'm with the Tel Aviv Institute, and they move us into a hotel the first day of the war. And that first day, I'm basically doing the war with catering. There's a buffet in the morning. So I'm in the Royal Beach Hotel on the beach, and every morning I'd come down and, I'd have, breakfast and stuff like that. And I swear to God, the first morning of this, I'm there, and there's it's me in a room, and buffet is there, omelet spread, and a bunch of old Jews. Yeah. And the sirens go off, and I hear around me different versions of the conversation, just like, Miriam, leave the omelet. We gotta go to the bomb shelter. And then look, no, I'm not leaving the omelet. They took it last time, and they said I can't bring the food out of the dining hall. Miriam, the Islamic regime is sending missiles. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to do. If they want me to go, I'll die here. If it means that the Fakakta wait staff won't clear my plate without me knowing. And I'm just hearing these conversations over and over and over. It's happening. It's like a real thing, you can't help but like laugh at this stuff. Learning the thing, I will say that one of the funny things I learned was that the push notifications that you get.
Yeah.
When a missile is coming, you have if it's from Iran, you have like 10 minutes. If it's from Lebanon, you have 90 seconds to get to a shelter. That's a real thing. Yeah. So, sometimes the way that it works is your phone gets a notification. The notification sound is, it's a woo, woo, woo. It's like it's a thing. Mm-hmm. And then you go into the shelter and there's another notification that happens when the bombs are above you and to let you know, really don't go outside. And then they give you another notification when the thing is ended to let you know how to go. Now, the thing is, the notification for there's bombs coming, that woo, woo, is the same notification they let you know for when it's cool to leave.
Oh, no.
So it freaks you out. You're already in the shelter already, and you're basically here. In the beginning of it, they're just like, there's bombs coming. Get to the shelter now. Go, go, go. And then when the bombs are gone, they're like, there's no more bombs. It's safe. Go live your lives. Get out of here now. Go. It's real, you can't help but laugh at this stuff.
You need a different tone to let everybody know that's okay.
They should have played Mr. Brightside.
Oh,
that's what it is.
Andrew,
they
Mr.
couldn't get the rights.
Get Mr. Brightside ready.
Yeah.
Well, okay, you're back home again. What's your plan? Because last time we had spoken and you were in here, you were traveling all around the United States trying to set a world record, which you did for most amount of pitches. I think 3 of them actually crossed the plate. I don't know if that was also in the record books.
3.5.
3.5.
By the way?
There it is.
Have I showed you?
There it is. Yeah. Look at that. Yeah. So now what's the plan? Are you still doing the matzo ball stuff or the matzo like you're doing now?
Many dates.
Yeah.
First of all, May 20th, I know a lot of your audience is Upper East Side Jews. May 20th, I'll be headlining at the 92nd Street Y.
Yes.
I'm going to be touring again. What's kind of funny is that I'm planning on going back over the summer to Israel in June, pending what's happening there. So I'm actually planning on going back. I'm going to be touring again. We're Manischewitz. We just finished a thing with Manischewitz where they're doing the top Jewish college athlete of the year. We have the men's and women's winner.
Right.
The winner gets $10,000 and their likeness on a matzah box. We had the voting process. We had thousands and thousands of votes. We are announcing the winner in April, which we're super excited for. Yeah. I will be headlining my family's Seder in the beginning of April in Springfield, New Jersey. But yeah, things are good. I'm tired. You know what it is? I'm tired. I'm jet lagged. I'm kind of catching up on sleep.
You look. Are you okay? You look thin. Are you eating? What's going on? A little smear on the bagel? What's wrong? You do look thinner. Are you okay?
Well, first of all, Ozempic, and I can tell you right now that in Israel, they got no need for that thing. So I found out that they were starting to approve Ozempic in Israel, and that's just unfair.
Yeah, you don't need that.
That's completely. That's like being a Dominican guy on steroids. You don't need to. you already have all the skills necessary. Just hot, man. Let me tell you right now, those bomb shelters in Israel, caked up, hot. Everyone's hot in those bomb shelters. It's Tel Aviv.
I'm spitzing. You're spitzing.
I know.
Eitan Levine, it's always a pleasure. I'm glad you're safe. I'm glad you're even funnier than you've ever been. We'll continue to talk with you, and we thank you for spending some time with us.
Anytime. Thanks so much for having me, John.
There we go. Sing 'em out.